Now the big interview of the morning.
Yeah, he is the Thorsome superhero who's been battling baddies for the past 10 years, really.
And as movie star Chris Hemsworth returns as hammer-wielding God of Thunder, could this mark the end of the Avengers?
Even if there's a small chance that we can undo this, I mean, we owe it to everyone who's not in this room to try.
If we do this, how do we know it's going to end any differently than it did before?
Because before you didn't have me.
Hey, new girl, everybody in this room is about that superhero life. And if you don't mind my asking, where the hell have you been all this time?
There are a lot of other planets in the universe. And unfortunately, they didn't have you guys.
I like this one.
Avengers Endgame is out on April the 25th at a cinema near you. And by Odin's beard, Chris Hemsworth joins us now live from his London hotel. Chris, good morning to you.
Good morning. How are you?
Good morning. We're very well, thank you. You comfortable in your nice hotel down the road?
I am very comfortable, thank you very much. How does it feel where you are?
Well, we'd prefer it if you were here, Chris, to be honest, if we're honest. But, you know, it's still lovely to see you and talk to you anyway.
And plus,
Yeah, Ruth was looking forward to seeing your hammer.
it's been destroyed in the last film.
That's a whole other story. Now, look, like myself, you're a man who prepares for his role. How demanding is it? I've got to bulk up for the part that I do here in the studio. How demanding is it to be the mighty Thor?
It definitely takes its toll, you know. I mean, I've been doing it for 10 years now, and there's sort of it definitely gets familiar, and you learn the sort of the tricks and the sort of things that work and don't work. But eat a lot of food, lift a lot of weights, keep moving, stay busy. Yeah, yeah, it is what it is. But there's worse things I could have been paid to do over the years.
Yeah,
That's true. There must be pressure, though, Chris. I mean, we had the actor Richard Madden has been talking in an interview saying that, you know, the pressure to look good, and that always used to kind of be a complaint from actresses and from women. Do you ever feel that pressure now, that, you know, you have to look a certain way and have done for quite a long time?
Yeah, I mean, I should have felt it on the first film more than ever, because we had to prove that, you know, that I was the fit for the character, and there was some sort of, you know, familiarity with the fans and this character myself for the comic books. So I remember being far more sort of nervous about it then. And then once we'd done it that first time, the second time, you know, I enjoyed the process. I enjoyed kind of staying fit, and I had a great amount of support and people around me to train me up and tell me what to eat right and what to eat and so on. But yeah, I mean, the pressure is, I think, as much on myself as my own kind of, you know, I know what I could have done more, or where I took shortcuts that didn't work, and more so than sort of an outside source. You know, I enjoy the fitness aspect to it.
But talking about enjoying it, Chris, I mean, it's been a great journey. It's been a fantastic journey. You must have to pinch yourself sometimes. Later in the show, we've got two characters from Neighbours, and I'm sure you'll know Dr. Carl Kennedy, the actor Alan Fletcher. He's going to be one of them coming into the studio. And when you think about it, 12 years ago, that was the route you were treading. I mean, being on, and a lot of people won't remember this, in Home and Away.
I was home and away for about 3.5 years, and I did about a week on Neighbours, actually, a couple of years before that, and you know, back then, even before I had been employed acting, was, you know, I had the sort of dream to come to Hollywood and work there, and to be a part of anything and work at all was the first sort of, you know, dream come true, I guess. But to be a part of something like this, and obviously at the time we had no idea what this was going to become, but yeah. As you say, you know, 10 years later, 22 films on, it, you know, just sort of to be a part of cinematic history in this sense, and in any way, shape or form, is incredible, you know. But also the the friendships we've all formed, and this film in particular had quite a nostalgic, energy to it. We're constantly sort of reminiscing about when it all started and how we all got here, and we didn't even know if we were going to make a second one or a second Avengers, and so it's sort of a bittersweet feeling to it all, but one that I'm going to cherish for the rest of my days.
But you're talking as if maybe
it's such a wonderful experience.
You're talking as if maybe that is the end of it. I mean, we understand that this is the end of your contract playing Thor, but obviously you'd like that to continue if possible.
I'd play this character for as long as anyone let me. As I said, I've loved it so much, but I think the culmination of this many characters in this sort of phase 3, as Marvel calls it, you'll never have this sort of interaction with this many people again, and who knows what the future holds and whether they do prequels or sequels or whatever. But I'd be open to anything, but right now it's sort of this is where we finish up.
Well, it's a fantastic place to finish up, and so popular. And you come from an acting family, Chris. Both your brothers are actors, and your brother Liam married Miley Cyrus recently. Now, you had the job of sorting out the photographs, I believe, that possibly wasn't...
You were given one job.
You were given one job, and you didn't actually carry it out that well. Tell us what happened. I'm stunned by this, actually.
No. So I had... I get my photos, I have this old film camera, and I get them developed regularly at this spot, and I have for years. And I was at the wedding, and I was one of the few people who was taking photos, and they said, "Oh, where are you going to get them developed?" I said, "It's fine, I got this little spot, it's all good." And then they sent an email or the Dropbox to these photos to the wrong person, and this girl put it up on her Instagram and said, "Hey Chris, I've got your photos," and someone then told me, and I just ended up getting a hold of her number, got a phone number, a contact, and called her up, and she couldn't have been kinder and said, "Don't worry, I'm not going to do anything with them, and they're safe." And so that was a big relief. But
yeah, how lucky were you that she probably could have sold those pictures, not let alone just put them up on social media. So that was very lucky. I just couldn't believe that, Chris. And I was like, who has their photographs developed anymore? Like, who actually takes their pictures?
Photographs, not camera photographs.
Yeah, like proper photographs. Yeah. That's amazing.
It was this old sort of, I don't know, old film camera that I'd had for years, which seems to still take a better photo than my digital cameras. So.
See, Thor's an old-fashioned guy, really, when you think about it. I mean, that would be Thor. If you had a camera, Thor would.
That's right. He's an old-fashioned hipster.
Yeah, absolutely right. My friend, you're big movie star.
Trying to be more trendy and kind of
You're now an international film star. You've done every year. You're working on something or other. But I believe you still have your roots in Australia.
Yeah, we moved back about 5 years ago, and it was the best decision we'd made. We'd had a great time in LA, but once we had kids, it got pretty hectic to sort of move around and paparazzi and so on. And my wife's from Spain, and we were both looking at different places to live, and ended up back home in Australia. And we have a very different life to what we had before. We have horses and donkeys and lizards and rabbits and all sorts of animals, and a very farm sort of lifestyle, and it's a sort of a quiet little surf town as opposed to Hollywood, where we were before. So
sounds lovely.
A healthier place in many regards.
Sounds lovely. Just before I came on air, I had a check on your Instagram posts and your Instagram following, and I was just looking at my following against Chris's. Chris only has 26.5 million.
Is that all?
26 million followers. And this is why, this is the sort of thing he posts, because believe me, this guy, serious actor though he is, he's a prankster. Have a look at this. Where is it? Somebody's just said to me. Well, it's on Instagram.
We gave the big build up there.
Did we not have it? He's drawing over posters.
He's drawing the posters, yeah. That was a couple of days ago at the LA press conference.
Facing posters.
Oh dear. dear, 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 dear. It's vandalism, basically. What were you up to there?
That's why I had to leave the country. I was in America at the press conference. Vandalism, as you say. I was just pretty bored. I walked past those photos all week, and someone else had started drawing on my picture as well. So,
which is the real reason we didn't bring you into this morning's studios, because there's too many pictures of us hanging on the wall here, and we didn't want you to deface them. But Chris, delight talking. That's it. Great talking to you, the mighty Thor. Thank you very much indeed. Avengers Endgame. It's out 25th of April. Thank you very much indeed.
Thanks, Chris.
Cheers.
See you.
By Odin's beard.
By Odin's
Oh,
beard.
you know who Odin was?
He's a god.
This is his dad.
But did he have a big beard?
Well, that's fine.
He had the long pointy beard, didn't he?
No.
Yeah.